1972 Chevy El Camino. Hasn't run for 10 years. Let's see if we can get it started. So welcome to Learn from Dad. I'm James. I've been looking for a vintage car for a period of time, something fun to drive around, take me back to the old days. I came over to look at a tree job, and when I was at this property, I noticed this big garage in the back with a big mulberry tree right in front of the garage door, and all I could think was there's got to be something good behind there. Opened the garage door, and there it sat. The owner had driven it pretty regularly as a fun car, and I don't remember why he said he parked it, but here it sat, and we're going to get it started and hopefully drive it home. Somebody has done a restoration on this car in the past, in the 1990s, and the body is in phenomenal condition. I've only seen one little spot on one of the rear quarter panels right here with a little bit of bubbling. Hasn't had a battery in it in like I said, 10 years. We're going to put one in, see what works, what doesn't, see if we can get it out of here on a nice Iowa day. So I actually have my brother with me today. I asked him to come along and give me a hand. We've worked on cars together for years and years, but it's been a long time since we've had something that's old and vintage, so this is going to be fun. Take us back to 20 years ago when we used to have nothing but pieces of crap that we were always having to work on. So these old Elcos have a hood latch down on the bottom. You want to grab that, Jared? See if you can get that thing opened up. Pull straight out. Similar to the BMW that I also bought that was sitting right over here. We did another video on that one. Go check it out, 325xi. This one has a significant amount of mouse sign that's in here, but I don't think it's done too much damage when we look around the inside. Somebody had definitely redone this motor in the past. I don't know if this is the stock motor or not. I believe it is a 350, which is what the serial number had said when I came in and checked it before. It's definitely been pulled at one point in time, if it is the original motor. Block had been painted, some spritzy looking fancy Moroso parts had been put on it just to look at all blue. It did have air conditioning on it originally, but the AC has been disconnected. I'm not exactly sure why, if it's because of the motor had been swapped and they just didn't want to put it back on, or it didn't fit. Oh, must have been a farmer car. Yep. Scotch lock. Classic. Fortunately, when I popped this before, there's not been any mice underneath of it. Electric choke. Just by looking at it, somebody had definitely done some work on it before. Yeah. Oh, another farmer Scotch lock back there. Yep. Don't use Scotch locks, people. Come on.
With a butt connector.
With a butt connector. Be better than Scotch locks.
Oh, and another butt connector.
Oh. From one butt to the next butt. Sweet. Look at that. Hey, at least they got a fuse in line.
A fuse, Scotch lock, butt connector.
Got any fluid in it? Looks like the front reservoir's got fluid. What about, oh, the back's got a little bit. I know the owner had said the transmission, I think the speedometer cable doesn't work, or there was something wrong with it, and so the transmission leaks a little bit. Look at these wheels, man. They even put faux wood behind the center caps. I did take a magnet to the sheet metal a bunch to see if it felt like it had a bunch of Bondo in it. Everything felt like real true metal. There's some tires for my dirt bike. I might have accidentally bought that dirt bike as well. Let's check out the interior here. Watch these doors. They had redone the interior on this thing as well, which is pretty sweet looking. It says it's got 99,000 miles on it, which I know is not accurate. Oh, look at that. Fuzzy dice. A little radio in it, Pioneer speaker, El Camino floor mats and everything. Blanket in case you need to get cozy with somebody. This thing's gonna be fun. Jared, I don't know if you've seen this, but this is my favorite thing of the whole car thus far. When they repainted it, the dude who painted it on the door jamb not only said what colors he used, which is a 1996 Ford truck and silver, but he also put his name on it. So Bob Lambert, if you're watching this from looks like May of 1996. Nice work.
It's like a signed piece of artwork.
Yeah, I know. Signed piece of artwork. It's an Alco. So the original color must have been some kind of a red, or that or this is primered. I don't know if anybody knows where to find the original factory colors. I don't know if this tag's got info on it. I did look in the glove box to see if there's any kind of codes, which there wasn't. I thought I read one time that maybe up here on the firewall or somewhere you could see like an original paint color code. If anybody knows, let me know. Well, I think first off, let's drop the battery in and see what kind of sparks fly, huh? Yeah, I didn't look to see what it had for fuses. I just honestly bought it and that's it. You know, the other thing I might do too, I'm gonna grab my vac and vac up some of this mouse crap. This thing was made for mouse crap disposal. I don't think there's much more that I hate than the smell of mice. Maybe the smell of cat pee. All right, maybe I'll keep vacuuming this other side a little bit. You want to drop that battery in? And
Yep.
all right, not quite sure what this is. Not connected, wires are broken. Looks like maybe a temperature sensor or something in the block.
Yeah, that one on top.
Yeah. There, now you got more sanitary working conditions.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know what my deal is with buying blue cars. Remember the 1971 LeSabre I had that I bought out of the trailer park? That was sweet. That was $300. This one was a little more than $300.
Oh.
Ground cable got all like heated and warmed or something there. Not coming through, so we won't worry about it. Well, let's just turn the key on and see what it looks like. I should probably grab the key, huh? For all you kids that did not grow up with cars from the 50s, 60s, 70s, let me show you how you can tell when you own a really, really cool vintage car. It has two keys. You have one that unlocks your door, gets you into the car, and then you have your other one that actually starts the car. That's how you know it's old and awesome. And I barely fit in this thing. Forgot how small they were. All right, keys on. Anything smoking?
No, nothing's burning.
How about headlights?
Oh yeah.
Oh man, this thing's got high beams on the floor.
Oh yeah, looks like they work.
Left turn. It's flashing fast like a bulb.
No,
up.
nothing on the front anyway.
Yeah, I got a fast signal, it looks like, so maybe we got some bulbs burn out.
The right one is flashing on the front.
Heck yeah, even the radio works. This thing's got a switch on the dash for rear window up and down. Doesn't do anything. I don't know if they swapped it out for a fixed window or something.
Is it crank windows on the side?
Even has the vents.
Oh, smoker windows.
I'm just kind of curious if it'll even roll. I don't know if it's stuck or not. See if it'll crank.
It'll crank.
Well, that's good. Hasn't spun over in 10 years. Let's see if it's even got any oil in the dang thing. Oh yeah, excessively full. How about that? Assuming this is the right dipstick.
Yeah, probably aftermarket.
It's Mr. Gasket Company from China. I'm gonna look inside and see what it's got on the, I don't know if the fuel gauge works or not. I'm just curious how much is in there because we definitely don't want to run that crap through it. So I don't know if the fuel gauge works because it's pegged all the way at the top. Might be either if the float's stuck or if the resistance is open, it might be all the way up. I did bring some cans to try to drain the tank out, and then I brought 5 gallons of fresh non-ethanol we can dump in. I did bring a small container too if we wanted to hook up direct. I'll go grab the hose for the siphon. You want to throw some air in the tires as long as we're sitting here waiting. You ever buy one of those tools where you're like, I don't know how I ever did without this thing. That would be that Milwaukee inflator. So that's threaded, and it threads right on to the Schrader valve itself directly. When you push the power button, you set whatever pressure you want, and it reads and does autofill. So it's got 5 pounds in it, and then you do plus up to whatever you want it to be, and then you hit the button on the right.
This one?
Yep. And it takes care of the rest of it itself. Isn't that thing sweet?
Wow, that's wild.
No more air tanks.
Beats my bicycle pump.
On our last tire of 4. So you remember Grandpa's old El Camino?
Oh yeah.
Our grandpa used to have an El Camino as well, and that's one of the reasons that I really wanted this car. And Jared was just mentioning behind the seat is a donut tire, and I can remember vividly, we borrowed my grandpa's El Camino, and we stopped for some reason in Ackley, Iowa, of all places, and we ended up with a flat tire, and my dad was so mad about my grandpa because the spare was flat, of course. That's just farmer maintenance. And we had to rummage around. It's a Sunday, try to find some place that was open, put some air in it because the gas station that was in town didn't have air. It was quite the ordeal, but we got it done, got it back. What do you think his was? Like a,
80.
I bet it was like an 82.
It was 82 or 84. Somewhere.
Yeah, one of my favorite stories. I distinctly remember taking that thing down to the sweet corn patch and filling the back end with sweet corn, and then we would go back up, and when we would shuck the sweet corn, we would go up to the hog pen and we would throw the husks into the hog pen so that the hogs could eat that, and then we'd take the sweet corn up to the house. So cool memory of Grandpa's old El Camino. I think his was dark blue, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
dark
was
blue
all
and
dark
silver.
blue.
I'd like to drain as much of this crap old gas that's in there out, so we're just going to try to siphon it out with a hose. Just create a little air siphon here. This usually works pretty effectively, except for when I tried to do it on that BMW, there was something I was running into physically and I couldn't get in the tank. So I got my little slot cut in one end. See how far we can get down in the tank. See how much. Oh yeah, there's quite a bit in there. My regular little inflator won't do a good enough job with this because it doesn't have enough instant air pressure, and well, air flow is what you really need to create the siphon. Little Venturi effect. Take my air gun. I did bring my air tank.
I didn't take much.
Doesn't take much at all.
Do you want me to check the little fuel filter at the carburetor?
Yeah, let's go ahead and check it. I did grab another one. Jared was working on popping the carb filter out to see if it's even in there still. So we got the lines cracked loose.
Sometimes they'll take them out and put an in line someplace. So I was looking underneath the car to see if there was one anywhere.
Oh yeah.
No, it's still in there. Actually looks pretty good.
Dry as a bone.
Is it?
Oh, look at all that crap that's in there.
Oh,
Oh, buddy.
it was doing its job.
Sure was. A little tap and
And there's usually a spring in
Yeah.
there. So you want to make sure you get that
yep, it's still in there.
seated in there all right. And the one thing too, we could always leave this off, crank it. and
Yeah, that's
the
a good-
fuel pump some of the junk into.
Yeah, I've got a couple other containers. We can let it just pump and see what kind of stuff comes out. Carb tuning is not my forte, but I was telling you, I was watching Junkyard Digs, and he did one of his episodes on carb tuning and timing. I'm going to try to follow him step by step. I never had to work on any of this before on any of my old cars because I bought and sold them so fast that I never got to the point of working on it.
Yeah, I think that'll work good because we'd be able to
Yeah.
pump some of the junk
Out of there, just cranking it.
The radiator
See
cap
what we
off
got
and see if
going.
it's even got any antifreeze in the dang thing. Oh yeah, there's some in there, but we definitely need some. Yeah, more than half, 2/3 at least. Overflow onto the ground. Nature's recycling, I guess. I don't know if there's another fuel filter in line, like an aftermarket, just inline one. I guess I could climb underneath the car.
Not one in this side.
Somebody should have swept the floor. I'm gonna get dirt in my hair. That'll fit underneath of this thing. Looks like the rear end's got a little leak on her. Oh, I gotta show you this. I climbed under the car. I was wanting to check the fuel tank and see if I could find if there was an extra filter in line, and I was checking out the exhaust. Came across these custom hangers. This looks very farmer-ish, right? True dual exhaust on it though. Oh, it looks like it's even got glass packs on it.
Oh, nice.
But gotta polish the chrome tips though. The underside of this thing is actually in incredible condition. The frame, fix the rear end seal.
All right, let her rip.
Okay, free of the belt.
Yep.
Here we go.
Nothing came out yet. Nothing.
Feeling any pressure on the line from the pump?
Try it again.
Anything yet?
Nope. Nothing.
I know that battery's got a fresh charge, but before we completely kill it, why don't we hook the battery charger up? I'm not a fan of these side post batteries that only have these little bolts on them. On my old cars, I used to pull those out and just put regular bolts in them, and I'd put longer ones in it and double nutted on the back so I had bigger studs sitting out. This one I intentionally bought the one that's got the top posts on it because then I've got something I can use this battery for multiple things. Positive red. Black negative. Of course, we could go to the chassis, to the ground, such as here above the alternator, but just as easy to go just to the battery. There's nothing wrong with that. Still flowing out of the back. I probably
Yeah, I
got
heard that.
3.5 gallons out of it.
Nothing.
Put your finger over that line and see if you can feel any pressure on it.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep. Yeah, do it again. Yeah, it's pumping.
Okay.
It is pumping. I can feel it. I can feel the diaphragm going in and out.
Tank might be full of crap too if it's blocked off on the supply to the pump. We could always take that air nozzle if we had to and blow backwards. Let's give her another couple tries and see if we can make it come.
Okay.
Do one more and let's start her cool a little bit.
Yep.
Be ideal if we could get it to crack off with either an external line or starter fluid.
It's kind of nice we got this here because we can use that and actually unclamp it, clamp our own hose on.
Yep. We need to send it through the pump though, right? Let's try and rig that up quick. I think this line I brought is the right size, or we can at least make it fit. That is bigger, isn't it? 3/8. I don't know if I have. This is quarter.
That's all right. It'll fit.
We'll
That's
make it
pretty soft stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. It's here. See if you can make that fit on there.
Square peg and round hole.
That's right.
I don't know if it's enough to.
I think you're past the barb. Get this cut and we'll stick it in that little tank.
Crank it, and if it'll just pump some into the jug.
Yeah, I think we should just to make sure it'll fuel pump will actually send it through.
Still nothing.
No dice?
Nothing yet. There it comes.
Coming?
All right, that's good. Oh, she's flowing. Yeah, make sure to take that piece out of there.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah, it was pumping. It just took a little bit to draw it down there.
Have to get it pumped and fill the bowls up, and so hopefully the floats aren't stuck.
Yeah, because I mean, you'll have to. I mean, it pumps fairly fast. Probably have to crank it for a minute, and then we'd be able to even look down there and move the throttle, and you'll see it shoot fuel in there.
Crank her over and at least try to get the bowls filled and see what happens from there.
Maybe it'll start.
Yeah, right. Here goes nothing.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Hold on a sec. I gotta tighten something. The fuel pump return's leaking a little.
I can't believe that just cracked.
Try it again.
No way.
The choke is closed like it should be right now. I would just see if it starts to sputter off before you stomp on it a bunch.
Yep, no, I haven't touched the accelerator yet, just seeing if it'll get fuel into it.
Now you can probably give it a couple shots.
Here we go. She wants it. Oh, baby, come on.
I could do it from here too, and just sit there and play with it.
It'd probably be easier, and then you can see what you're doing.
And the other thing is we can always open this up by hand to let more air in there, because right now it's at full choke, closed off.
That's the electric choke, isn't it?
There, it held open some. Oh, you know what? I kind of forgot about that. On these, usually the way you set the choke is you go full to the floor and back, and then crank it. So see what I just did?
Let's see if there's voltage to that. We'll see if it's actually working. You'll have to probably
key on, right?
Yeah, it's got voltage to it.
To the choke?
Yeah, key off now. Yeah, it's working. It's at least got power to it. Let's put it that way.
Yep. So I got the key on now. So if I go full down, does it set it?
Here, let me try it from here. You got the key on still?
Yep.
No, it's still all the way closed, but it could be. Try cranking it now. I opened it. I got it.
No way. Yeah!
I got it. It was easier to do it here. I just grabbed it and started to.
Oh my God, listen to that thing purr. That thing just floats. Oh my God. Yeah! Fire right off. Fire in the hole. Those glass backs sound awesome. Not as loud as I thought it would be. No, it's not. Oh, we're gripping something.
Yeah, I think we're actually leaking. Oh, we're leaking right here.
Yeah. Okay. Let me key off quick.
It's got life.
Excited moment. That thing sounded sweet too. That was,
It was
there was
smooth.
no knock
It wasn't
for
missing.
having sitting for 10 years, and the lifters weren't all rattling and chattering. That thing was pretty loose, wasn't it?
Yeah, and yeah, think about it. There's no barb on that. It's just a piece of tubing.
That's right. Yeah, because that would have been typically a full steel line, and they must have just
usually
cut it.
Yeah, they crack in the corners, and then that might have been it. That all that was leaking because it was. I could watch it. It was
dripping
running.
down.
It was running all the way down and then dripping.
I can't believe it started that good. Man, I'm 2 for 2 in 2 days. Guess the next thing we got to figure out is with the fuel tank itself, trying to get some.
Can we get gas?
Yeah, can we get fuel coming out? Maybe we think we try to bump some air through there and see if we can push anything back. If there's something blocking the intake at the tank or the outlet at the tank.
We should be able to hear it gurgling back there. If
Right. And I did get some fuel out. I don't know how much is still actually in there. I have no idea if that fuel gauge works. Let me look at the fuel gauge and see if it came down at all. I got 4 or 5 gallons out of it. Yeah, it's still pegged at the top. Float's probably stuck.
I'll go back.
Yeah, you want to
here.
go back and listen and see if we can
You got
hear.
the cap off still?
I do, yeah, it's off. Take some air, gently blow it back through. See if we can hear the tank gurgle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
When we blew the air back through the line, we could hear it bubbling in the tanks. We know that the line going up to the fuel pump is clean, and it tried to siphon more fuel out of the tank and was really struggling. So I think we're potentially low. I tapped on the tank underneath. It does sound pretty hollow. So we're just going to go with the fact that we've got 5 gallons of non-ethanol gas. We're going to dump it in, try to get it where we can get it drawn up with the fuel pump and see if we can get it to where the whole fuel system is actually flowing and working. This will hopefully dilute it enough that we can make it all start, get it to the point where we can get it to a fuel station and add some more gas and get it diluted down.
The end of that suction.
Pretty crappy.
Yeah, it's pretty dried out and rotted, so that might not have been helping matters.
Pulling air.
Yeah.
There we go, 4 gallons in there. We are going to leave our little tank to where we still have some extra fuel. We can just hook it straight up to the carb if we need to again. Well, let's fire it up. We got the main line hooked back up from the tank. Took our temporary off, so the bowls are filled, so hopefully it'll fire right off and roll the fuel pump, and we'll be able to get some fuel drawn up from what we dumped in the tank. So let's give it a try.
I'll see if it's charging.
Yeah, so I was just thinking the same thing. Must be drawing, it's still running good. That's pretty high.
Well, charging fine.
14.6.
Like I said, sometimes when you get fluid on the downstream side of a PD pump, it helps draw the vacuum side because you're kind of sealing off the outlet
Right.
side. The pump doesn't like to pump air, they'll pump fluid.
Oh, I hear
Oh,
something.
something's running.
Actually, I don't see. Oh, there's something dripping. Uh-oh. Let's go see what that is. It does look like coolant.
Line to the heater core. Is the floor getting?
Oh, yeah. It's wet inside.
Yeah.
Antifreeze dripping. Come inside. You can see it's kind of dripping down here on the floorboard, too. So the heater core's it's leaking pretty bad. I'll have to get that carpet popped out of there.
So what we can do is take one off and just loop
Loop it back around, yeah. Yeah, let's take them off back there first.
Sorry, no heat. It's gonna be
No heat. Summer driver only, although it doesn't have air conditioning either, so it's I guess a spring and fall only driver, eh?
Yeah. Now, will it come off of there?
We'd always cut it too, Jared.
Yeah, we might have to.
Look at this. They do look like different sizes though, as we'll have to go get a barb fitting to put between the two.
I don't know what happens if you just block it off.
Stick a bolt in it or something, you mean, and clamp around it?
I'm assuming this is the pumping side, right?
Yeah, off the water pump.
The water pump pumps to it, or does it pump it out from this side?
I don't know.
I don't know how it works either.
Somebody will know.
Yep. I wonder if this hose would fit inside of that one almost. If you cut them and looped them together.
Well, that's what I was thinking, that even if we had to go run and get just a reducer barb fitting.
Yeah.
To go from...
Right there, 3/4. This is probably
It's 3/4, 5/8. That might be a good deal. We could go get a jug of antifreeze too.
Need that anyway.
Yeah, because we're pretty low.
Want to get some more gas?
Yeah, let's go get some gas, get some antifreeze. We'll get a barb fitting. We can put those together with those clamps, and then we'll come back and go round 2. So we just got back from grabbing some fittings. We're going to take those heater hoses that go to the heater core, bind them together so it just flows in a loop. Had to get some more antifreeze. We went and got some more fuel. We were just checking, transmission's cold, but just seeing if there's some fluid on the stick, just to identify if it's got something in it, because it did have a leak in the trans before. I know the speedometer cable's broken. Checked power steering fluid, that's a little bit low, but it looks like it's got enough in it. It'll be good for now. Then need to check the steering, check the brakes, and try to get this thing out of the garage. Ended up getting a PVC coupling, 5/8 and 3/4 by 3/4 NPT fitting. Throw a little pipe tape on it just to make sure it all seals up tight, and that'll at least loop it, get us home. So I was telling my brother Jared, I used to work in the construction industry and plumbing, and when you go to use pipe dope, or I should say tape, if you're going to tape a joint. Now these are NPT fittings, so probably don't technically need it because of the taper on them, but it's good to put a little something in there. This Blue Monster pipe tape is legit the best. It's what our plumbers always used to use. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Make sure we put this tape on in the right direction so that when we're spinning clockwise into the fitting, it tightens. I think that heater core is just cracked, or
Probably.
never had to pull one out before.
Yeah, me neither. I don't know how they all...
There we go.
It's custom.
I'm gonna get some antifreeze mixed up and fill up the radiator, which hopefully it doesn't leak, knowing that it was kind of low when we first looked at it anyways. Probably a 5-to-1 shot that I spill this all over.
You did use distilled water, right?
Yeah, right? Yep, it was absolutely distilled. It was distilled right from the side of the house. Let's fire it up and let's see if it'll pull that through and kind of funnel around, and we'll see if that's leaking or not. While it's sitting here idling, I'm going to get in and rotate the tires and see if the power steering works all right.
Yeah.
Then we'll get this capped off here in just a second. That turns good.
Sucked it back up. Might have to have you start it and then...
Keep it drawn down.
yeah, because that way at least if it pushes a little out the overflow, do that.
Get that on and then check the brakes and... Good thing we got open air cleaner.
Yeah.
You know, adds all that extra horsepower.
More HP.
I'm gonna put it in a drive, move out of the way, and we'll just pop it back into neutral quick once I start rolling and make sure the brakes work. Feel like Dumb and Dumber here.
Are you in neutral?
Yeah. I'm in drive right now.
I was definitely stopped moving when you hit the brakes. 'Cause I was moving it until you, yeah, brake.
Okay, I'm off the brakes. That transmission fluid was, did you even see it on the stick?
Uh-huh.
So it might be just
It might be empty.
so low.
You're not making any
Yeah.
pressure with the torque converter.
No, not at all. Let's get some more fluid in it. I got like 1.5 quarts. Maybe that'll give us enough to do something. Empty. Guess we probably should have bought more than 1
I
quart.
was wondering, see if we can get it to even register.
Yeah. I think I'll put a little more in there. We're getting on the bottom of the stick, but since we're not hot at all, I don't want to overfill
Right.
it initially here.
Oh, there she
yeah.
goes.
Sounds like a derby car. My backup lights work?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
they do.
It's dry.
Okay, let's dump the rest of that in there then. What is that that's smoking down there on the exhaust manifold?
Oh, there's a bunch of oil that's...
Maybe the valve cover gasket's leaking.
Oh, that's what I was wondering.
Let's see if we can get her pulled out. You're good. Look at that thing. I cannot wait to get this thing polished up. We're gonna do some serious burnouts. That's the only thing I really cared about. Get her pulled out of the backyard, and we're gonna pull up. There's a hose up here. We can't see anything out of the windows. We're gonna wash them off, take her for a rip down the road, and hopefully nothing goes wrong. Got my fuzzy dice on the dash. I don't know where my brother's at. Let's see if we can see out the windows a little bit better. Oh, looks like she's leaking on the inside a little bit.
That's good.
Good enough.
That actually makes a big difference.
You gonna hit it with Rain-X too for me? Forgot to check the wipers, see if the wipers worked. Wonder where the parking permit's for. Oh yeah, that's better. Young kids don't understand the value of a smoker's vent window. Wiper check? Oh, look at that. You know, these things had air shocks stock as well. And the guy I bought it from said they haven't worked in a long time, but they've also got airbags you can put in the springs and then just add on some standard shocks. Ooh, there's an old Ford in that driveway. Oh, you could try to buy that.
We'll get another one.
Yeah. Not exactly much clearance in my head in this thing. Not meant for 6'5" dudes. Pick up. Oh, picked up second gear.
Shift.
Perfect. Got a couple flat spots. Yeah. That older guy we just drove by. See the size of his eyes? Oh my God! Look at that.
Like I used to have one of them.
Well, it shifted smooth. It's not overly wobbly. It's got a little wiggle to it.
It actually runs pretty good.
It runs great. Doesn't like to kick down though, does it? Get her down to the gas station. Make sure it's not leaking any fuel or anything, and then we'll, yeah, fuel gauge definitely isn't working. Maybe we'll get it topped off and see if we can make it for home.
Still running, Clark. Why don't you go falling in love with it?
I already think I have. Should probably check the brake lights. Let's make sure they actually work.
Oh yeah, all three of them. How about turn signals? That one's working. Yeah. See,
I think it was just that front left that must be out that's making them run
this
fast.
one is flashing with the third. That's awesome.
Kids are not impressed with my burnouts. We just made it 25 miles home, no problems. The car shook a whole bunch, probably mostly because of the flat spots on the tires, but overall, I can't believe how good this thing runs. I might have stopped and done a couple burnouts in the process because that's one of the reasons I wanted this car. And the kids were thrilled. They were standing outside when I pulled up, totally stoked because it's not even tuned up yet. We need to set timing. We need to check the carb over. It's having a problem not kicking down off high idle. Got to work on the heater core, figure out why that's not, or why it's leaking, I should say. And the brakes, I'm guessing the rears may not be working very well. The stop's pretty good, but I think it's just the front's pulling. When it gets nicer out here the next couple days, I'll get it washed up. Super awesome. My brother was with me today. We got to fiddle with cars again like we used to. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. Come back for more. Thanks for watching. Stay curious.